men in the hospital in Afghanistan when the U.S. military started dropping bombs last month. And as people ran from the building, medical professionals and the like, a gunship circled outside and mowed them down. That's according to the group that ran the hospital, Doctors Without Borders, which has just released the results of its own investigation into the attack. It reports the assault went on for more than an hour, that it blew off the heads and limbs of medical staffers while burning to death patients in their beds. Doctors Without Borders now reports 30 people died in the strike in the hospital in Kunduz. That includes women, children, doctors, nurses, and more. According to the group, there were members of the Taliban inside the hospital, but they were patients who were unarmed. As we reported, the Pentagon missed its own deadline on Tuesday to release the initial results of its own investigation. Pentagon officials have said the bombing was a mistake. The representatives for Doctors Without Borders say that explanation is not good enough. Meantime, we're hearing the United States military hit other targets hours before the hospital attack. Witnesses and local officials tell the Washington Post newspaper airstrikes also hit a mansion and a warehouse in heavily populated areas nearby. Witnesses say there were no armed men in those buildings either, and no reports of any deaths in those strikes. Joshua Katz is a former counterterrorism advisor and was a CIA covert operations officer. Sir, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Shep.
The president has apologized. The question is, according to Doctors Without Borders, was this a war crime? Did they know or should they have known and kept firing?
Well, I think that there are two issues here. One issue is the U.S. military's reliance on Afghan intel. And the reason why they have to do that is because the administration's basically pulled out a lot of our intelligence resources, and now we are focusing really on the Afghanis and putting a lot of confidence in their intelligence, which I think is absolutely misguided and misplaced. But on the other side, we have Doctors Without Borders, who is in all cases here are actually providing material support to terrorists. They have knowingly and willingly and admitted. Doctors Without Borders here, Shep, has said that they have provided support to the Taliban.
Oh, hang on. What doctors do is treat the wounded in war zones around the world since time began. Are you suggesting here that they should have not treated members of the terrorists, as you call them, when they were bleeding and at their doorstep? They should have said, no, go away?
Well, Shep, this is the dilemma we are in.
Now wait, you have just taken a United States military airstrike on hospital workers and turned it into the fault of the hospital workers for treating the injured and wounded, and that's disgusting.
No, Shep, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying here is that we have two sides of a very complicated situation. Right? We have known Taliban members who are being treated in a facility. Does that mean that they should be attacked and be blown up? No, it does not mean that, and it does not mean that
what you
kids
said
should
was
be
that
attacked
Doctors
either.
Without Borders should not be treating members of the Taliban, didn't you?
That's exactly what I said, and they should not. They are furthering and helping the Taliban get back onto the
at the door. You may be dying. I'm a doctor who's taken an oath to treat the wounded no matter what, no matter where. It sounds to me as if you're putting some amount of blame on these doctors who put themselves in harm's way clearly and died to try to save people.
Shep, they knowingly put themselves into this position. What I'm saying here
wait, they
is it's
told
not
the United
so
States
clear-cut.
military on the phone, you are firing on a hospital. There is no Taliban here. They continued to fire and continued to fire, and then, according to this new report, they mowed them down as they ran from the hospital, and you're trying to blame them? I don't get it, Mr. Katz. I just don't.
No, Shep, I think what the issue is here is that who are they talking to on the phone? The communication here.
The issue is that the United States military knew for a very long time. They had charted that facility as a hospital. They'd been told it was a hospital. It was in their books. It was in their logs. Their people should have known it. They were on the phone with them. That had been a hospital for a long time,
Shep,
and everyone knew it.
This does not alleviate any of the blame or the burden on the U.S. military. Because I think it is very important to look at this from both sides, and both sides here are culpable.
One side is the Doctors Without Borders should not have treated dying people.
No, they should not have treated terrorists that are trying to kill American soldiers.
They should have just let people in the battle die there.
No, Shep.
That's
Let's
not what
talk
doctors
about
do.
it for let's talk about it for what it is. It is treating terrorists. They are known terrorists. They're known terrorists to those
treat
doctors.
the injured. They don't get a label, and you know this. Surely you know this. Ask any doctor about the oath that person took when he or she became a doctor. You treat the injured. You don't say, oh, you're from this race or this war or whatever. You treat the dying. That's a rule.
Shep, they have knowingly gone to this place in Afghanistan in order to treat wounded from the war. That means both sides. That means innocent Afghanis. It also means those that are trying to do harm and trying to destroy all the work that we as Americans have put into building up Afghanistan. It is not as clear-cut as you want to make it sound here.
Well,
It's
I just got a release from the Pentagon. Quote, we have received and read the Médecins Sans Frontières. What it means is Doctors Without Borders internal review of October the 3rd incident in Kunduz, and we appreciate them sharing this report with us in advance of its release and is being made available to our investigators and to continue their efforts. Also, they express condolences. The President of the United States apologized. You're the first person I've heard see this as a two-sided story, that Doctors Without Borders was in some way culpable.
Absolutely, because in all situations like this, there are two sides, and both sides here, I'm not saying one side is more or one side is less.
The United States military sets up hospitals of this kind. Did you used to watch MASH? They treat people from both sides. Should they not have done that?
We absolutely do. But when there is, in this situation, when there is the chaos that has surrounded the situation.
There was no chaos. There should have been no chaos, according to our own military. Our own military has reported to us that, yes, they knew that was a hospital. Yes, it was in their records. Yes, they were in communications. And by the way, we are really sorry. They're not saying, oh, wow, they're saying we messed up. We should have known. The President of the United States has apologized, and you're trying to blame the doctors.
No. What I'm trying to say here, Shep, is that the communication here at all levels, from the Afghanis to the U.S. military, from the U.S. military onto its tactical plane in this case to special forces, is a huge problem, and it's more of a problem now than ever because we no longer have the intelligence on the ground to help support this. So there is an issue, there's a major issue that we need to clear up there. But we also need to say that when people are making
more troops on the ground.
Well, no, what we need is intelligence. Now, how that plays out and that intelligence growth here probably really means more troops on the ground.
Mr. Katz, I'm out of time. You know what else we need there? What else we need there is a hospital. Because Doctors Without Borders pulled out when they got bombed and killed while trying to save people. And now they want an outside investigation into whether this is a war crime. And there are plenty of people who believe they deserve at least that investigation. It's nice to have you here, and I thank you. Ahead.